She heard the footsteps every night at 2:47 a.m. Always the same time. Always directly below her bedroom. She lived on the ground floor. And there was no basement in her apartment building. At least, that's what the landlord told her. When Maya moved into the Westbrook Arms in downtown Portland, she thought she'd found the perfect place. Affordable. Quiet. Walking distance to her new job. The kind of apartment that seemed too good to be true. And maybe it was. Because 3 nights after she moved in, she woke up to the sound of something moving beneath her. Not rats. Not pipes. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. Pacing back and forth in a rhythm that felt human. She pressed her ear to the cold hardwood floor. The footsteps stopped. Then, a single knock. From below. Directly under her head. She pulled back so fast she hit her nightstand. Her heart was hammering. Her hands shaking. But when she called the building manager the next morning, he laughed it off. "There's no basement, sweetheart. Just a concrete foundation. You probably heard someone upstairs." Except Maya knew what she heard. And she knew it came from below. Here's where it gets worse. Because Maya did something most people wouldn't. She started researching the building. And what she found made her blood run cold. The Westbrook Arms was built in 1952. But before that, the land had a different purpose. In the 1920s, it was home to the Westbrook Sanatorium, a private psychiatric facility that shut down under mysterious circumstances in 1931. No official records explained why. But local archives mentioned something else. Underground isolation rooms. Patients deemed too dangerous were kept in reinforced cells below ground level. Windowless. Soundproof. Forgotten. When the sanatorium was demolished, the city claimed everything was cleared. But demolition records from 1949 showed something strange. The underground structure was never fully removed. It was sealed. Filled with concrete and buried under the foundation of the new apartment building. Maya stared at the old blueprints she'd found in the city archives. The isolation rooms ran directly beneath where her apartment now stood. She should have left right then. But she didn't. Because that night, the footsteps came again. And this time, they were faster. Maya grabbed her phone and started recording. She needed proof. She needed someone to believe her. The footsteps moved across the floor below. Left to right. Then back again. Then they stopped. For a long moment, there was nothing but silence. And then. A voice. Faint. Muffled. But unmistakable. "Help me." Maya didn't sleep that night. She couldn't. Because whoever, or whatever, was down there, knew she was listening. The next day, she went back to the building manager. Played him the recording. He went pale. Not confused. Not skeptical. Pale. He told her to delete it. Said she was hearing things. Stress from the move. But his hands were shaking when he said it. That's when Maya knew. He'd heard it too. So she did what any rational person would do in that situation. She called a contractor. A guy who owed her a favor. Someone who wouldn't ask too many questions. And late one night, they drilled a small hole in her bedroom floor. Just enough to drop a fiber optic camera through. What they saw on the monitor made the contractor drop his drill. There was a space below. A room. Roughly 10 by 12 feet. Concrete walls. No door. No windows. And in the corner, barely visible in the camera's infrared feed. A shape. Sitting. Motionless. Facing the camera. Maya's contractor packed up and left without a word. She didn't blame him. Because as he walked out, the shape in the camera, moved. It stood up. And it walked directly beneath the hole they'd drilled. Then it looked up. Maya called the police. They came. They investigated. They found nothing. Because when they drilled into the floor, wider this time, with proper equipment, there was no room. Just solid concrete. Exactly like the building manager said. But Maya had the footage. She knew what she saw. So she hired a forensic analyst to examine the recording. Frame by frame. And that's when she noticed something she'd missed before. In the corner of that sealed room, scratched into the concrete wall. A date. October 14, 1931. The day the sanatorium closed. And below it, carved in frantic, uneven letters. They buried us alive. Maya moved out the next week. She never went back. But before she left, she did one last thing. She checked the tenant records for her unit. In the last 15 years, 23 people had rented that apartment. Average stay: 6 weeks. Here's the thing about the Westbrook Arms. It's still there. Still renting units. Still advertising on Craigslist as affordable and quiet. And every few months, someone new moves into apartment 104. They never stay long. Because at 2:47 a.m., like clockwork, the footsteps start. And somewhere beneath the concrete, in a room that doesn't exist, something is still waiting. If you've ever heard something you couldn't explain, drop a comment below. And if you want more stories like this, hit that subscribe button. Because some mysteries were never meant to stay buried.